Xbox and Microsoft have had a tumultuous 2 consecutive console generations. Right now, the Xbox Series generation is hobbling along, while Xbox finally makes strides in their first-party games, even though those are going to PlayStation. But the latest rumor sounds like Xbox may never make another console again. Xbox is midway through the console generation, but it's already announced that they have a deep partnership with AMD to make multiple hardware devices, including their next traditional Xbox console. After disappointing millions of fans by canceling their own handheld, only to partner with Asus on the $1,000 Xbox Rog Ally X, questions are now enveloping fans that Xbox may soon announce the cancellation of next generation and leave hardware indefinitely. This information comes from a trusted leaker that, according to many games journalists that report on his info, Sneaker has ties to internal Xbox and Microsoft business dealings. Here's what he had to say. Without going into too much detail, not long after the last round of layoffs, next one should be coming in Q1 26, by the way, and it's going to be just as massive as the last one. Some rumblings out of Xbox started coming out that were a little hard to believe. The ramifications of the Call of Duty Game Pass gambit not working out were just starting to get properly measured. But the thing that really stuck out to me was that suddenly, really concrete plans for the actual Microsoft Xbox hardware went from being definitive to up in the air, which was really startling given that this thing was meant to be out relatively soon. It was one of the situations where, despite folks being told, hey, we want to pull the trigger on this in 2026, the steps you would need to take in the lead up to delivering a new console gen weren't being met. To sum it up, the future of Xbox is software publishing, with a significant honed-in focus on profitable IPs, Call of Duty, World of Warcraft, Minecraft, Candy Crush, Forza Horizon, cloud gaming being the home of the Xbox platform, transitioning Game Pass into basically becoming the point of entry subscription for xCloud access, which will continue to drive its price tag higher, by the way. They aren't done there just yet either, and releasing their software on any device that has a marketplace and users willing to buy their titles. Maybe some OEM thing will take up the Xbox name, but given what is clearly a collapse in favorable mindshare and faith in said brand, I'm not even sure a third-party OEM is gonna want to have an Xbox console by the time Microsoft is done with their reorienting of the division, close quote. This quote from Sneaker is, quote, went from definitive to up in the air regarding the next generation Xbox console, which goes from speculative nearing an educated guess. But right now, it's so plausible and likely that Microsoft is staring down the barrel of canceling the next generation console and throwing away 2 to 3 years of R&D and laying off hardware employees in the hundreds. Jess Corden of Windows Central, who has been a strong, reliable insider and reporter, says, quote, I can confirm via a very trusted source that this isn't true, at least for now, but that, quote, at least for now qualifier is a real problem. How can we know what will be true next quarter? I've asked multiple trusted sources about what Xbox's present hardware posture is. For now, it remains unchanged. Microsoft publicly confirmed that it's still committed to first-party Xbox hardware over the summer, with comments from both President Sarah Bond and AMD CEO Lisa Su on silicon that would power next-generation Xbox devices, both from third and first-party, close quote. But Microsoft has provided the following statement to Windows Central Jez Corden after asking about the clarity for the cancellation of next-generation Xbox. Microsoft says, quote, we are actively investing in our future first-party consoles and devices designed, engineered, and built by Xbox. For more details, the community can revisit our agreement announcement with AMD, close quote. This is a stark response to rumors that normally Microsoft or Xbox refuse to comment on, which means if Xbox truly was going to put into question whether they move forward with next generation, they would have refused to answer the rumors that are standing. The problem is that in early 2024, Jez Corden received the same confirmation that Xbox would not be going third party just before the infamous business update when Phil said it's just 4 games. And months later, Xbox is partnering to put games on the PS5. If you think that Microsoft would never sever a business agreement with AMD to make multiple chipsets, you're probably right. If Xbox did indeed cancel the next generation console, those chipsets will be used for supported devices, but most importantly, to build their cloud gaming service. This would be a goal more in line with what Satya Nadella expects from a gaming division to push users to the cloud and leverage their strength for software-based enterprise. We are nearing an entire 2-year gap until Xbox and PlayStation will reportedly launch their next generation consoles, which means that Xbox wouldn't be announcing anything for another 12 months. But with Game Pass seeing major price hikes, removing perks, adding others for goodwill of the brand, Xbox has nearly decimated their goodwill to a mass exodus of diehard fans and general people reporting with the games media and even the uninitiating that Xbox is in fact dead. Rumors and reports several months ago stated that Xbox would put out their next generation console by the end of 2027, but would also simultaneously allow other companies to make their OEM console PC hybrid, or better described as the next Steam box with Xbox internals, allowing you to play PC games and a suite of current Xbox console games. What does this mean if Xbox really leaves the hardware business? This is a nightmare come true for some 40 to 60 million Xbox users who own game libraries that live on Xbox Live and on physical-based media, which Xbox can no longer properly support without their own console. But don't worry, if you're thinking you might lose access to your games library, it seems that Microsoft and Xbox plan on using a strictly cloud-based service to play the games that you own if you don't have a console, meaning you'll no longer be able to play them without streaming them across the internet. Hence the reason why they announced that they are bringing a cloud-only free service with ads every 5 hours. The situation for Xbox couldn't get much worse. But Xbox plans to continue their partnership with AMD in some form by allowing the Xbox architecture to be built into AMD's chipset for the Xbox gaming business. Even though the rumor states that Microsoft and Xbox will be a full software-based publishing arm for video games, it's quite possibly the worst thing that could come true. To completely ditch a next-generation console, you'd have to move to PC, with the caveat that you'd get a PC with Xbox's AMD hardware if you want to continue to play your current Xbox library. This seems to be a last-ditch effort for Xbox to make up any razor-thin profit margins that have come from the near $80 billion acquisition charge that Microsoft and Xbox led in the early 2020s. And the harsh truth is that even trying to go to Game Pass and making half of their releases on the bigger platform of PC and PlayStation, Xbox is still not making enough money to satisfy the growing hunger of Satya Nadella and Amy Hood, the leaders of Microsoft, who would rather use that money spent on their growing AI business. The Xbox division is a small piece of the pie of the multi-trillion-dollar Microsoft that seems to make the least amount of profit and revenue, and the rest of the business of Microsoft has wholly taken charge of Xbox. The next generation Xbox console was supposed to be a hybrid console with PC games, and that sounds excellent for gaming fans and Xbox fans. But the truth is, that next console would probably only see a half-life generation on generation, with 40 million Xbox Series consoles being cut down to just 20 million by the end of next gen, which is likely not even close enough to reach a profit margin without selling the next generation console for $1,000. Right now, Xbox is pulling Xbox Series consoles from further production and manufacturing, selling off the remainder of stock and the overstock of Xbox Series S, and putting the rest of the hardware into cloud for lower tiers. Costco, Walmart, and Sam's Club are pulling stock and no longer supporting the Xbox, which speaks volumes on Xbox pulling away from consumers, not answering that call. All of this is purely speculative and hinges on the reliability of the leaker, and the future rests on Xbox and their incompetence to grow their brand, taking 15 years to finally deliver games and a console people have to have. Insiders claim that the news for a supposed canceled console will happen soon. If it does, Microsoft will have a good long ride in gaming and calling the end of Xbox as we know it in their 25th anniversary. This is Colteastwood. Thank you so much for watching this video. And if you're still here, write in the comment section, Lukather. I have a lot to say because I've been doing content reporting on Xbox for almost 10 years. Somewhere around 2015 or 2016, I started to report about how much I was actually really enjoying the Xbox One and saw some of the benefits that most people didn't enjoy. And I started to report on a trajectory of Xbox finally getting everything together in 2016, 2017, especially with the Xbox Scorpio, which really got my channel moving, and I got to meet a whole lot of people and have some great opportunities. But watching them go from an Xbox One X to the Xbox Series console and then waiting several years before all of these promised games would come out, some of them still have not seen the true light of day. It's something I guess I should just apologize for. If you're one of those that went and bought an Xbox One X or an Xbox Series console because I said it'd be amazing and there'd be all these great games, I hope you did enjoy it as much as you could, and I hope you're having a great time with it now. And I still think there's 2 more years of that generation left over. So I don't know if you're asking, but personally, do I think that Xbox is going to cancel their next generation console? Barring aside how reliable Jez Corden or Sneaker are as insiders and people that talk to people working at Xbox or Microsoft, do I think they're going to cancel the next generation Xbox? I really feel like Xbox could just go forward with the cart, all that momentum, just go ahead and just roll the dice. But I think the real reality is that the next generation Xbox would only sell about 15 to 20 million units by the end of its 6 to 8 year cycle. And that's how it has been with Xbox. They've really given you no reason that you have to own the console. They've been telling you for 9 years, since 2016, all of our games are available on PC. And with the recent things they've done to Game Pass, they're kind of telling you the better situation is to be on PC and stop helping them lose money by buying an Xbox console. It's really frustrating that their general incompetence to do something as simple as run through a games industry and run a gaming business. And I know that PlayStation and Nintendo have had their own problems, and it's been very difficult for them as well this generation, but they seem to just move forward. You should check out my video, The Downfall of This Console Generation. I will link it at the end of this video. It's a really good one that not a lot of people watched, but it really breaks down the highs and the lows of PlayStation versus Xbox. And what a great time it is to sit here and try to be excited about what the future is. And I've done the best I could. I've learned a lot of lessons over the years. I've been reporting on games. I've made some big falters, like getting excited about that one singular mission in Redfall when I did the preview, and then to find out the game was just, that was the best it could possibly be. And it's ridiculous to sit here and apologize for things that we've covered, but this is where it is. And I don't know. Yes, I do think that Xbox would easily cancel their next generation console, especially if they can leverage what they're building with AMD and put it into a PC and just try and drive all their customers there. And if you don't want a PC, I have a feeling they're going to tell you, we have a console for you. It's called the Xbox Series S and the cloud. If you ended up enjoying this video and you learned something, let me know by liking and subscribing to the channel. Hit the bell to be notified of new weekly content. If you want to further support what we're doing here on the Colteastwood channel, we're going to be covering all kinds of games, studios, all of the next generation leaks, even across all of the other devices. You can do that by hitting the join button below, hitting subscribe, and having the bell on. If you want to further support, you can join the Patreon. I have a super class there where I teach about video production, graphic design, doing things for YouTube, live streaming, and so much more. Also, check out the XSC podcast. There we do a live show every Monday, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, and we'll break down everything that we're learning over this weekend about the Xbox next generation console. And that will be a show you can watch live or it's on demand on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Let me know what you think about the possible cancellation of Xbox and them dying in their 25th anniversary. And while you do that, as I always say, be nice.